का आवाज़ बंद कर देना। Hello everyone. If you can hear me, do let me know in the chat. Just type yes in the chat. If you can hear me, just let me know in the chat. We'll wait for some time and we'll see if more people wants to join. And in the meantime, you can always post your questions in the chat. And again, if you can hear me, just let me know in the chat. I'm also pursuing data science from Middlesex. Can you guide me how to get job? So yeah, if you're doing your course, the first thing is definitely, which is very important, is focus on your course and try to gain as much knowledge as you want. Because even if you get calls from the companies, it at times can get a little harder to crack the interview. So that is one thing. The next thing is uh, try to apply to as many jobs as you can, and subscribe to different platforms for their newsletter. So LinkedIn is there, then CV library is there, Target Jobs, Total Jobs. There are a lot of different platforms. So yeah, turn on the notification or the newsletter so that whenever there is a new opening, they will email you so that you can just go and apply. So apply to as many jobs as you can. The next thing that you can do is go to different meetups and there try to talk to people and see if they have any opening in their company. And also the next thing that you can do is try to participate in different hackathons. Hackathon is again a very important thing to do. There you will gain a lot of experience, you will meet a lot of like-minded people, and maybe from there you can also find some uh, good opportunity. So those are the things that you can do. I also have a video how to find job in the UK, so you can check out that video for full description or for more detail. So yeah, that's there. When you post a video for cheap universities, yeah, so I posted a in community tab asking for you guys to let me know. So I have made a list. I still need to do research about them, so hopefully it will be up in, let's say, 2 3 days, because I was also working on the video how to write a good report, which will definitely help you to get more marks, and definitely getting a good marks will in turn lead you to a good job. So that is there. So yeah, I was working on that video. So that video is up now. So now I will start working on good affordable good affordable universities. So yeah, that will be up soon. Coventry University is good. So the course content is good and it is also in a very good location. So in general, Coventry University is a good option. We have few more people joining in. So yeah, let's see. Does university grade matter here for job? Um, Maybe that is not the most important thing, but some companies do ask, how is your academic performance going. So if it's too low, then maybe it can affect up to certain extent. So it's important to maintain your grades close to 70%. If that's not possible, then probably you can stick to around 65%. So that's there, but don't let it fall too much. So some companies do ask, some companies just don't care about it if you have a good profile. So yeah, that's there. Does it make any difference with specialization in data science and masters? Modules do vary based on your specialization. So if I just talk about Newcastle University, it has different specializations. So one is AI, and then visualization, and one is statistics. So if you take any of the specialization, there are certain modules that you have to compulsorily take. So that is there. But if you take a general data science course, you can pick any module which you like, something like that. So you will have a lot of freedom. But if you want to have a proper structure, and if you are interested in something which you know that you are going to do, and then it's probably better to go with the specialization programs. Is it still possible for students to get PSW? Yes, definitely. That thing is still there. And the government official who made that comment that they will be removing PSW has resigned. So probably now that is not going to change. So yeah, you can still get a post study work visa. How are you? Ayush, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good as well. YouTube surprisingly gave me notification today. Yeah, I don't know why this happens, because YouTube doesn't notify everyone even if you have turned on the notification option, that bell thing. So this is kind of annoying, maybe for you also, for me as well, because when I post a video, there are certain people, let's say, out of, I have around 6,000 subscribers, so let's say out of 6,000, only 1,000 people have clicked on the bell icon. It sends notification to only maybe 100 to 200 people, and based on number of clicks that notification is getting, then it push the notification to more people. So yeah, it's kind of annoying that if a person has clicked on the bell icon, they should get notification for all the videos, but that doesn't happen. So that's there. Does university ranking matters for company for masters while hiring? No, it does not matter, because I have seen a lot of people here from all all range of universities. So there are people from bigger universities, there are people from smaller universities, and as long as you have skill, you have a good profile, and you have worked on good projects, it's totally possible to find a job, and companies don't really mind from which university you are coming from. I just recently graduated, received my last semester's result. Aggregate is coming to 64%. Now starting to apply for September intake 23. Any tips for me? So you have the threshold percentage, so that is totally fine. So you can apply to most of the universities. Try to, if you have already some projects which is related to data science, then that's really good. You can put them in your SOP or in your resume as well, because we have to submit academic resume as well, so you can put those projects in your resume. But if you don't have anything of that sort, I would suggest you to probably have some sort of certification, because maybe for not jobs but for universities and to get admit in good universities. They really consider certificates to be a way of very good weightage. So go to Udemy, probably take some course. It will also give you a good understanding of all the data science stuff, and then you can probably uh, have that certificate in your resume, also in your SOP, so that will strengthen your profile. So that is something that you can do. When do you think I should start applying to universities for September intake? If the application process is already started, I think this is the best time to start your application process, because the sooner you apply, you will increase your chances to get the admit. So that's there. But if you don't have your IELTS score, or if you are still waiting for something, then at max you should be done with your application process by the end of December. So that is there. So yeah, that is something that you can do. I think this is the best time that you can start doing your application process. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. I have done Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate from Coursera. Will that be enough, or should I get? No, that is totally fine, because Coursera has much more weightage than any other platform, because there you get courses from big tech companies and also from good universities. So that should be perfectly fine for you, and that's a good thing to have. And so far, if you feel like these live streams are helpful, don't forget to give this a thumbs up, because that way I always get to know that yes, this live stream and these one to one or these live interactions are helpful for you guys, so that I can keep doing this. So yeah, if you are finding this to be helpful, do give this live stream a thumbs up. Does IELTS really necessary, even though uni are mentioning IELTS band score in their portal? Some universities have this IELTS score as a mandatory thing as part of your application. So if you are only focusing for the university which are not looking for IELTS or things like that, then probably you can skip IELTS, because there are many universities which don't really need any IELTS scores. So that's there. But to be on a safer side, and if you want to have all the universities at your disposal, and if you want to have that freedom that you can apply to any universities, then definitely it's always advisable to have IELTS. So yeah, that's what I will suggest. But then there are many universities which don't really want your IELTS score, or they can also accept Duolingo scores now. And some universities don't even need all those things if your education is in English medium. So that is there. I'm also thinking of doing some beginner data analytics projects to mention in my resume, which I can also mention in my SOP. What are some that you recommend that I can do? So, in the UK, if I just talk about UK, and it actually holds good for any other place as well. But in general, healthcare sector, financial sectors, these are the kind of sectors which are really looking for data analysts and data scientists. So if you pick a data set from these domains, maybe you can easily get these kind of data set from Kaggle. So if you just search for healthcare sector data set or financial data set on Kaggle, you will find lots and lots of data set there. So if you do these kind of data analysis in your, I mean, if you do these kind of data analysis projects, it will also give you upper hand when you will complete your masters and when you will be looking for job. So because then you can put these projects in your final resume as well. So these are the things that you can do. So yeah, that is what I can advise, because to pick a specific project, I don't think that would make sense, because it also depends what you would want to do. And also what I can also suggest you is, don't just stop at data analysis. Maybe you can do data analysis, and once you feel like yes, you have done a thorough analysis on the data set, you can always go for training a machine learning model or something like that, so that you will have a complete package with you. So that is something that you can do. When you guys are looking for a university, what do you consider as the most important factor? So let's say some of the factors can be course content, location, university ranking, fees. So these are just few to name. But yeah, what do you think is the most important factor for you? Thanks. I will definitely look into machine learning models once I analyze the data. Yes, that will give you a complete package, and then that way you will go through the whole life cycle of a data science project. So that way you will have a pretty good knowledge, also experience as well, and something that you can actually show in your resume. So that's there. Yeah. Yeah. So do let me know in the chat, what do you think is the most important factor for you, because I'm consider like I told you, I am making a video based on uh, their affordability, so that I can look into all these different uh, yeah, so that I can look into all these different sections, and based on that I can suggest which university is good for what. So yeah, that will give me a good understanding what you guys are actually interested in. If I want to learn ML and Python, what is your first subject area to learn? Subject area. I think you are asking about what are the backbones that you might need to learn Python and ML. Python is something that you can just start right away if you are completely fresher. If you freshen, like you don't have any experience with programming, then you can definitely go to probably YouTube and search for Python tutorial, and you can start with that. You don't really need anything or any prior knowledge for that. For ML, you need to understand mathematical concepts like linear algebra, calculus, probability, matrix manipulation, or matrix operations. So things like statistics, so things like that. So once you brush up your those concepts, then you can get into machine learning. And if you just want to go for applied machine learning, then probably you don't need all those things, because by just 2 3 lines of code you can actually implement a machine learning algorithm, and you can have a working model. But then you will not understand how exactly that particular model is doing its predictions and stuff. So it's always advisable to have those kind of mathematical concepts under your belt before you get into machine learning. I hope I have answered your question. University ranking, course, fees, location. Okay, makes sense. I'll say ML first, then Python second to learn. I don't think so. I mean, both are very different things. You can, of course, do them in parallel. You can do one before other. So that is there. But if I have to learn probably machine learning or data science in general, and if I have to start today from scratch, I would first think about, or I will first research about a language which will be used for machine learning or data science in general, and then I will first learn that language, and then I will get into machine learning. Because what will happen is, if you learn machine learning purely from theoretical perspective, there are lots and lots of different algorithms and you will learn everything. And then when you will go for the applied part, like if you want to implement those algorithms, you will probably forget some of the algorithms how they used to work. Then you will end up with only the implementation part or just the applied part, which in my opinion is not good. So if you first learn Python programming, and then let's say you learned KNN, you learned the whole theory part, and then probably you can implement it. You will see how it is working. Then you will move on to SVM. Then you will learn the mathematical concept. Then you will implement it. Because that way you will, if you already have this that Python knowledge, you will be able to implement it. But if you don't have that, then you will just go through the whole theoretical part and then you will start your implementation. So in my opinion, I think learning programming or Python first is better than learning machine learning first. But it's just my opinion. You should also probably experiment around and how you prefer to learn. Based on that, you can make your decision. But do let me know if you agree or if you do disagree. Do let me know in the chat. I haven't even given the IELTS GRE exam, but I am thinking about applying for September 23. What should I do first? So when you apply to, you don't really need GRE for UK, so you just need IELTS. So if you are thinking to apply in the UK, you can apply to the universities and without IELTS score, that is totally fine. But if the university actually wants you to have IELTS score, then they will provide you the conditional offer, and then you can take IELTS and then you can submit that score. So that is one thing that you can do. You don't need IELTS score upfront, but if you don't want to wait for conditional offer, because there are some universities and if they have very good profile of people who already have IELTS score, they will probably give them the unconditional offer, and then you might lose out on that opportunity. So that is something needs to be considered. But then there are many universities, they offer conditional offer without IELTS score, and there are some universities which can give you unconditional offer even without IELTS score. So yeah, there are all sorts of universities there. Can data scientists start some startup? If yes, then can you give some example or ideas about it? Thanks in advance. Definitely, data scientists can start a startup. So just to give you an idea, and if you just want to provide a service to lot of different companies, so let's say you can have 4 or 5 people, a bunch of data scientists. It's always better to have some software engineer also if you don't have any idea about software engineering, because at the later stage you will have to deploy those models. So if you know all those things, then that's really fine. But if you don't, then it's also important to have some software engineer in your team. And then you can probably reach out to some of the companies, let's say retail sector companies or small businesses, things like that, and you can tell them that we can help you in growing your business based on the data that you already have. And then you can analyze those data, and then you can probably present them in a good dashboard way, and then maybe you can make a predictive model if they actually need it. Because some of the smaller businesses, they don't even need machine learning model, all they need is data analysis part. So you can provide services, and those businesses, when they improve, there are different ways. You can either charge them, or you can ask that whatever amount of profit you will make, I will take certain portion of it. So let's say 20%, 30%, or maybe they won't give that much, so just 10%. If it's a big, if they're making a lot of money, then 10% will also be good enough for you. And it's not like you will be working for just one business, you will be working for multiple businesses. So that is something that you can do. Or you can do some very core machine learning type of projects. At this point, I don't have anything at top of my head, but Yeah, I mean, if we cannot definitely think about it. So if you want to make a product based company, then definitely you will have to come up with something very concrete which is in demand in the market. So that is another thing that you can do. But definitely a data scientist can start a startup. What do you think about University of Glasgow? It's a very good university. Even I had applied to Glasgow University, but eventually I ended up choosing Newcastle University. But Glasgow University is a very good university. Course content is definitely good. City is relatively big, so there are a lot of companies there. So good job opportunities as well. So in general, Glasgow as a city and University of Glasgow is a good option. MSc Data Science, Hertfordshire University course review. So I have already posted a post in community section. So if you just, I think there is Hertfordshire University there. So I'm planning to make a video where I will be covering top five affordable universities to do MSc Data Science in the UK. So I will, if I feel like the course content is good, in my opinion, of course. So I will put this university also in the list. So yeah, look out for that video. I will try to post that video within 2 to 3 days, I guess. Yeah. How's the situation in the UK right now? Can you comment on it? Is it is cost of living crisis real? That's right now. Yes, definitely. The cost of living has gone up by notches. It's very expensive now. Because 6 months before, when I was looking for houses or just a room to rent, I was able to find things around 350, 300, 400 also. But now, when I'm looking in the rental market, I can't really find anything below 400. 500 is like the average price now. So in just 6 months, the rents have gone by like £100 or something, which is a significant amount. So that is there, and also the food and stuff. It is also getting really expensive. Milk I used to get for like 6 pint milk used to be 3.5 liters. So it used to be around 1.9 pound. Now it is 2.1 pound. It might not sound significant, but it is actually a good jump, because when I came here for first 8 to 9 months, the price was just same, but in just 6 months, it increased quite a lot, and it just did not increase in one go. Previously, it was 1.9, then it became 2, and then 2.5, and then 2.10. That is the current rate. So things are getting expensive, and it's just not milk. Everything is getting expensive. So that's there. And about the situation, like other things, you might already know that the government is not very stable at this point, and Liz Truss has resigned in just 45 days, which does not look good to the foreign investors as well. So yeah, things are not looking really good at this point, but we could only hope if that the things should go better. So yeah, that's there. And has economic crisis already started affecting the job market there, like hiring freeze? Bigger companies are definitely freezing the hiring process and things like that, but there are still jobs and there are companies still hiring, because I have recently got an offer from a startup. So yes, if a company wants someone, and if they actually feel like they need a resource, they will definitely hire. But if we just talk about the bigger companies, they have stopped hiring, and it has actually affected, because the previous offer that I had, it was from ThoughtWorks, and because of all these economic crisis and stuff, they had to move my joining from October to January, which is a lot of, which is a very big time, and I had to wait for quite a lot of time. So that's why I had to choose, or I had to go for some other company. But you can see that they are moving joining, or also they have cancelled a lot of offers for people. So that is also there, so it has definitely affected the job market. From your view, how you will learn ML from scratch, like the math part I am asking in an order to learn. Yeah, definitely. So if I have to learn ML today from scratch, I will first brush up on all the mathematical stuff. So the two channels that I can suggest you are Three Blue One Brown and StatQuest. So there you can go and read about linear regression, not linear regression, but linear algebra. Linear regression you will cover in machine learning part, but those videos are also there on those channels. So linear algebra, calculus, statistics, metrics, manipulation, and probability. So if you brush up these things first, and then you can move on to machine learning part, where you will cover supervised and unsupervised learning. And then if you are still looking for something, you can go into deep learning. So that should be my path which I would follow. I will first learn maths, then machine learning, and then deep learning. But before that, if you, like I told you, you also have to learn programming. So before everything, just get better with your programming skills. So that should be my path that I would follow. What about Harriet Ward University? Harriet Ward University is in Scotland, so it is very close to University of Edinburgh. University of Edinburgh is very popular and big university. So again, Edinburgh is probably, yeah, it is actually better than. I mean, it is not better, but it is bigger than Glasgow in terms of job opportunity. They both have similar kind of job opportunities, so that's there. Uh, in terms of, and if I just talk about Harriet Ward University, it is a reputed university, very old university. They have a lot of different courses, and they have experienced faculty as well. So in general, a very good university for sure. Where am I? Yeah. So, so what about University of Strathclyde? So I don't know the. I mean, in general, I don't know how that university is and about the location, so I can't really comment on that. But if you want something specific, like if you want to know about the course content or something like that, that I can definitely comment on. Maybe not at this point, but if you can tell me what course you want, then I can tell you. Uh, so yeah, that is something I can't really comment on the location or the university in general because I don't have much idea about this university. I can only comment on the course content. Since you have been in the UK doing your masters, have you applied or received offer from companies in India? I did not apply to companies in India, so that's the simple answer. For course content mentioned in the uni portal, what do you see for master's course content in data science? So after coming here, one thing that I have realized is most of the universities, they are mainly focused on practical aspect and not the core mathematical concepts. Maybe there will be some universities which will be focusing on, but majority of the universities, they are focusing on the implementation part or applied part. So that's there. So if so, when I was looking for a course content, I was mainly looking for a course which has everything. I was not really focused on programming part because I was comfortable with programming. So if there was a module which was teaching you programming or Python programming or programming for data science, I was not interested in those kind of courses because then one module I'll be just wasting. It will be of no use for me. So I was looking for courses where they are covering, let's say, visualization tools. Power BI could be one of the tools, and it was covered in my university. So that is something. Second, statistics and maths. So the basic thing that they will teach. Next was machine learning, and deep learning was also a very major factor for me because when I saw a lot of different course content, not many universities were mentioning deep learning. Maybe they would be covering it in their machine learning part, so that is there. But they were not mentioning that. So I was looking for a university which is actually telling that there are different modules for machine learning and deep learning, or even if the deep learning is covered in machine learning module, but then they should mention that. And if I was not sure, I used to reach out to people from the university, and I used to ask them, are you covering deep learning as part of your course or not? So that was something. And also the major one of the major thing was the projects that I will be doing, the assessment. So assessment should be evaluated purely based on the projects, and I was not interested in examination, because for examination all you have to do is read several topics a night before and then write everything, and then you will still pass. So that is there. But I wanted to be evaluated purely based on the work that I am doing. So that was another factor. The next thing is there should be group projects and some practical or working on a live project sort of experience. So those are some of the things which I was looking for in my master's course. So I hope that will give you some idea about it. University of Southampton. Again, I can only comment on the course content here as well. Maths is not my strongest pursuit. Will I find MSc data science hard? So, like I told you, here most of the universities are focusing more on the practical aspect rather than the theoretical aspect. So, even if your maths is not good, you might find one or two modules to be bit complex. So, let's say maths and stats sort of modules. But if you can manage, or if you can just go through the reading material or the video content that your university is providing, I think you should be fine. Apart from that, I think for machine learning and deep learning part, I think you should be fine, because there they teach you how to use different packages and how to get going with all sorts of different algorithms, things like that. So it should not be very tough, but for interview perspective, some companies do ask you to explain the maths behind a particular algorithm. So for that, I think you have to maybe don't try to learn calculus like to the best. So if somebody has given you a very complex integration problem, you should be able to solve. So that is not the case, but at least the maths which is required for machine learning and deep learning algorithms, that you should understand. And I think those are not really complex stuff, that can be done for sure. Just have that confidence, and I'm pretty sure that you will be able to do it. After going through your MSc course at Newcastle, what module did you not find so good? Yes, I have also talked about this in one of my videos, like my experience video, the recent video which I have posted. So there was this module called as cloud computing, which initially I thought that it will be a good thing to learn about cloud infrastructure and Dockers and stuff, but it was purely theoretical module where we learned about how cloud is important, how it can help businesses, and things like that. And there was just small mentioning about Docker and stuff, but nothing practical. So it was not a practical module. So I didn't really like it. And the project which we had to do in that module was basically a data analysis project, which we have done in a lot of different modules. So cloud computing module was probably the useless module, I would say, in my course. Instead of that, I could have taken image processing or something, but I didn't take image processing because whatever they were covering in that module, I knew those things beforehand. So I thought, okay, let's learn cloud computing, because it is one of the important aspect of data science, because you will be working with different cloud platforms, let's say AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Docker, containers, things like that. So yeah, that is why I felt like cloud computing was useless for me. How did you do data analysis project in the cloud computing module? So the data that they had provided us was our data which was collected from a cloud infrastructure where they were processing a terapixel image, which is a very huge image. And when they were processing that image, how much GPU was being used, how much CPU is being used, how much power consumptions are there, and how we can optimize that. So we can do all these things based on the data that we had and analyzing the data. So that was the sort of analysis that we were doing. So it was not basically a cloud project, but it was a data analysis project for a cloud data. So that was there. Is it really bad in the UK in terms of expenses? If you are doing part-time job or if you find a full-time job, then maybe you can manage. And for IT people, it's not that bad because they are still getting paid I mean, sufficiently. I won't say it's not bad, of course. Payment is fine, and the salary that you will get, you will be able to manage your expenses, so that is totally fine. And when UK decided to leave EU or after Brexit, most of the businesses got impacted because of that, mostly the smaller businesses. And that was one of the main sources of income for UK, because they were manufacturing things in the UK and then they were selling it to EU. But now those things is being stopped, so they are heavily relying on the IT infrastructure and IT services that they are providing. So because of which the salary is still okay for IT professionals. So that's there. And if you have a full-time job, then definitely you can manage your expenses. During your student life, definitely if you can squeeze out some time from your course and you can put into part-time jobs, I think you should be just fine. So it's not like unbearable, but you need to manage your expenses and don't go all out on parties and stuff. You need to be very mindful about your money that you are spending and where you are spending. So by just being a little bit mindful, you should be fine. Oh, okay, got it. That sounds like all right project, just not. Yeah, exactly. So the module was called as cloud computing, but then the project which we did was data analysis. So that was something which put me off. But if I was actually using Docker and stuff, that would have made me more uh, like that module. Student visa is like for how many years? I think you're asking student visa is valid for how many years. So it depends your course length. So if you are coming for 1 year masters, your visa will be valid for 1 year plus 6 months. But if you are coming for 2 years masters, which will be 1 year master and 1 year placement year, your visa will be available for or valid for 2 years plus 6 months again. So that's the validity of your student visa. Is US better than UK for data science? Is it better to do 1 year masters rather than 2 year masters from US? So I chose 1 year masters, and that was one of the major factors why I chose UK, because the masters was just for 1 year, because I had prior knowledge and I knew that I can cope up with the course. But if you are someone who doesn't know anything, and if you are just getting into data science and you are at a very elementary level, then I think it's good for you to do 2 years master. And if you know some concepts and if you have prior knowledge, then I think spending 2 years on something which you already know a little bit is sort of waste of time. So that's just my thinking. But if you want to give some time and if you want to learn things at a relatively lesser pace, I think 2 years should be the way to go for. But if you think 1 year masters you can cope up with, then definitely it's always good to save some time. Is MSc Data Science a good option with 5 years experience in India as a data engineer in supply chain domain? Yes, definitely. You have a good amount of experience, that too in data industries. So it is a very good option because now you will learn other things that maybe your data science team used to do, or things that can be done after the data engineering part is being done. So it's always good to expand your knowledge, and that way definitely you will be able to get a good job as well. So in my opinion, it's a good option for sure. Yeah, I think in terms of job and salary prospects, but good UK universities are on par with good US universities, just the culture would be different. Yeah, I totally agree with Ayush's comment. Is it worth to take placement year? Also, we didn't get any, then how will affect rest of the course? So placement year is mainly for people who are freshers and they don't have any experience. So that way you will be part of a course and you will get the freedom to work in the industry. So that is there. But let's say you didn't get uh, any offer or work, then your university will cut down that part and then they will move you to a 1 year course, and then your visa or post study work visa will get adjusted based on that. I actually have a video about uh, placement year on my channel, so you can check out for that video. That will give you a better understanding of if it is helpful or if it is not and who is it good for. So yeah, you should check out that video. Hi bro, I want to do masters in data science. What is the advanced practice in Teesside University? What is the job market in UK for data science? So I was also looking into this advanced practice thing on Teesside University because some of you have mentioned that in the community post. So but I could not figure out exactly what it is, so I still need to do a bit of research on that. So that's there, but I think it might be something which will allow you to collaborate with probably some research which is going on within the university or maybe the companies which they are collaborating with. So I'm just assuming that, so don't count me on that. I still need to do research, and if I could find something, I will make a video on that, or maybe you can ask this question again in the next live stream, because by that time I suppose I will be able to answer this question better. And the next part of the question is, what is the job market in UK for data science? So uh, jobs are there definitely, but again, competition is also too much because there are a lot of people who wants to do data science. So it all comes down to your profile, portfolio, your level of expertise, so those kind of things. So when you are doing a course, make sure you are not just doing the course. Try to look into different other things as well. So maybe you can try to look into ML ops, or you can do some object detection problems or projects which are not part of your course if it is not part of your course. So things like that. So try to work on a lot of different things, because in my course these packages like GPT-3 or Spacey, they were not covered, of course, but out of interest, I tried to look into all those kind of things, and it gave me even broader perspective. And they definitely look good on your resume that you have done something extra out of your course curriculum. So try to do those kind of things. Also, in the UK, 1 year masters is equal to 2 year masters course. That's what the country offers. All the unis finish their MSc course in 1 year. Even the 2 years MSc course, cause that lasts 6 months. Yeah, again, that's right. Because even if the course is for 2 years, the first year will be your course, the second year will be your placement year. So eventually you end up learning everything in just 1 year. So it's a condensed form. And I personally think that spending too much time on your courses is not good, because even I feel like I did my bachelor's in computer science, and now I feel like spending 4 years on something which was not worth. So if you just take a boot camp or some course for computer science, you will learn everything maybe in just 1 year or something like that. So I think these macro or micro courses are really good as compared to those degrees. But the thing is, companies want you to have degrees, so that is something which is not good. But I personally feel like spending too much time on learning things is not good. Rather than you can uh, squeeze everything in a very smaller package, and you can learn those things in a very quick way, and then you can actually start working on practical projects. That way you will gain some experience, and that will enhance your expertise. So that's what I think. But it could be very different thing for you, or you could have very different perspective. So we have around 12 people here. So do let me know in the chat, because I would also like to know what do you guys think. Do you guys still think that spending 4 years or 2 years on masters or bachelors is good, or universities should actually start making a smaller, or pack everything in a very smaller duration? That way students will get to learn so many things in a very small time. So yeah, do let me know in the chat, because I would like to know what do you guys think. Does the fresher gets the job for data science, as there are many controversy about the job market? So it's not like freshers don't get job, but it's relatively hard for freshers to get job. So that's there. Um, that's why I always suggest people to, if they have that option, to gain some experience after their bachelor's. It's always advisable that gain some experience and then come for masters, rather than just coming for masters straight out of your bachelor's. Because I'm seeing people in my batch, people who had experience, even if they had very irrelevant experience, they managed to get job even with less knowledge, I would say. So experience is actually playing quite a lot of weightage in your profile. So it's always good to have at least 2 to 3 years of experience, and then come for masters. And I'm pretty sure that finding a job will be relatively easily if you would have come as a fresher. Yeah, where am I now? Yeah, so keep doing such live streams. Thank you, Swastik. It's always good to come here and talk to you guys like this, because, as you can see, we can have very good discussion here. So it's always good to come here. I surprisingly received interview for data analyst position from a small company in Netherlands. The thing is, I have no clue how companies like these hire people. Even I don't have any idea about Netherlands job market, but companies are actually willing to hire good candidates. Maybe you would have a really good profile, you might be having a very good resume, so they might be interested in uh, interviewing you. So it's always good. And what I would suggest you is go for that interview, see what they are doing, how they are doing, and whatever questions they are asking, because it's always good to have interview experiences and things like that. So even if you decided then not to join that company, that is a completely different thing, but it's always good to have that kind of experience. So definitely go for the interview and see how things go. And if you choose to join live stream next week or next to next week, whenever your interview is done, please do share your experience with us, or you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn as well, and you can share your experience with me, because that way, hopefully, I'll be able to help many other people. So it's always good to share these kind of knowledge with the community. What is the right time to apply if aiming for September? This is the right time to apply for masters if you are planning to come next year. So yeah, you should already start your application process and be ready with your IELTS score at least by the end of November, at max December. Do you have any idea how companies like these hire like that? Do companies like these exist in the UK too? Yes, companies like these are there in all the different locations, all the different places. Because if I have to talk about the company where I have applied or I have got an offer, of course I am in the UK, so you might say that you are already in the UK, so that's why they have hired you. So that could be the reason. I'm pretty sure, but they were not on the sponsored approved list, so it's a startup. So first they had to apply to get the approval that they can sponsor someone, and then they are offering me the sponsorship. So if I was back in India, if I had significant amount of experience, and if somehow I would have found this company and I would have applied for this job role, I would like to believe that they might have sponsored my visa, because they are going to such lengths that they first need to take approval, then they need to sponsor my visa. So that is there. So there are these kind of companies which actually think like having a good resource adds value to their company. And I think usually the smaller companies go to such lengths and bigger companies don't do that, simply because bigger companies uh, have to be in line with some of the rules and regulations of the country, whereas these startups are actually sort of free. They can do few things because they don't really have huge money, and they cannot take risk with the hiring and the hirings that they are doing. So I think smaller companies are more like open minded, I would say, because they can hire people from different part of the world because they feel like they are the good resource, rather than bigger companies, because bigger companies have to stick to certain rules and regulations. So that's what I think. Can you tell me a day in the life of an international student in the UK, like what's their college timing and timings for the part-time job? Sure. So here classes are not like every day, like 5 days a week. So it's not like that. Some universities might be having those kind of things, and whenever we have to go to university, it was not like we had to stay in the university the whole day. It will be hardly 2 to 3 hours of classes, different subjects, and if you have to stay till the evening, then probably 3 hours will be your lab, which makes sense because there you do all the practical stuff and there you can ask all the different doubts that you have. So that is something that you can do. And here part-time jobs are very flexible. So if you tell them that I am a master student and I have my classes on these days, and I am free on, let's say, Tuesday and Wednesday, so I will only be able to work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. They will be like, okay, fine, you can come on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So you can actually manage your time fairly well if you are not wasting it in some other things. So that's there. Apart from that, you can always have fun time on weekends. So if you want to go for, let's say, coffees or parties, whatever you are into, if you are into traveling, you can do that as well. Or if you choose to work on Saturday, Sundays as well, you can do that thing as well. So that is there. So yeah, that is in short, life in an a day in a life of an international student in the UK. Uh, Thank you, bro, for your valuable information. I'm glad that it helped. Well, bachelor's from Indian uni is definitely not worth it. I feel there are very few unis in India that are worth going to for engineering like ITs and BITS even, but even they are not worth. Yeah, exactly, because it just takes so much time to learn things, and there are many things that they teach is not even worth it, because the first year of my bachelor's there I learned about electrical engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, and I'm sure that I was sure at that time that I'm not going to use these things. So literally the 1 year was complete waste, and it's like they are making it for 4 years because they can make a lot of money, because they will be charging you lakhs for like a year fees, which is too much, and they just want to have it for 4 years just so that they can make money. And if they had just squeezed that everything in just 3 years and they had just removed the first year, I think that would have been still better. So I still think that the 4 year course is really not worth it. But we don't really have any options, so I'm not saying that don't go for bachelor's. But if you can afford to do masters or bachelor's outside India, then definitely that's a good option. If not, then we don't really have much option. How many end-to-end projects can help us to gain good knowledge in data science? So it's not about how many projects you are doing, it's about the quality of the project. So one thing that I would suggest you is try to work on projects, let's say on one regression problem, one classification problem, one image related problem or image classification, and then natural language processing. So if you do, let's say, four projects, and you can also do a time series project. So let's say you did five projects, but then these projects are really complex, and you just didn't take any toy data set and you just apply different algorithms on that, and your model is working fine. So that should not be the case. You should actually take a data which is kind of complex, which is not very well structured, or it is not very clean. So you need to show them that you have actually cleaned the data and you did lot of data manipulation things and things like that, probably feature engineering as well. So if you have these kind of things in your project, then those projects are actually what hiring managers or managers look for in a resume. So that should give you a really good or that should make your profile really good. I am currently working in Wipro, and by side, I am also doing iNeuron full stack data science course. By having 1 year experience, I am planning to come in next September. I'm currently so if you already have 1 year of experience and if you are coming for next September, then probably you will have 2 years of experience. Or maybe if you are just starting out and by next year you will have 1 year of experience, so that is a different thing. Companies consider at least 2 years of experience as relevant, not exactly relevant, but considerable experience. But some experience is better than nothing, right? So if you're planning to come for next year September and you will have 1 year of experience, that should do. And you're also doing a full stack data science and course, which is a good course. So you will be learning quite a lot, and I think they also offer you internship as well. So you will be working on an internship, so you will have relevant experience as well. You will have IT related experience as well. So I think it should be it should be fine. It should be fine for you if you are coming next year. Your LinkedIn ID, please. You can find it in the description of this live stream or in any of the videos you can find, or if you go to about page, you can find there as well. So yeah, sure. I would be telling you how it goes once I'm done with that first. Thank you so much, Ayush. How is the master dissertation is delivered? Is there a discussion or just deliver the code and the documentation? So once you're done with your dissertation, so you are done with your report writing, you are done with your code and stuff. There are different portals. Each university have their own portal, so you will upload those kind of things. In my university, and also in Northumberland University, so I would like to assume that in most of the universities, they have this presentation also. So where you will take the take your code and you will ask your project guide, and probably there will be a secondary evaluator as well. They will come and you will present your project, so probably you'll have to make ppt and things like that, and there you will tell them what all things you have done, so you'll have to do a presentation as well. It could also be one-to-one presentation, it could be a zoom call. So that is how you deliver your dissertation. So you will submit your report, you will submit your code file, and then you will have to present your uh, project. How hard is your dissertation? So it depends. My dissertation, I would say, my for me the hardest part was figuring out what the clients want, because my dissertation was my internship project. So whatever internship I was doing, I took that project as my dissertation. So when I started my internship, the hardest part was to figure out what they actually want, because they had a lot of different scenarios which they wanted to implement, and they were like, we want you to do this, we wanted to do that, we wanted to do this, if you can do everything. But the problem was I had limited time. I had only 3 to 4 months, and in that I could never have done everything. On top of that, I had to write a report as well. So I told them, these are all very different projects. Of course, if we put them together, it will be a whole big product, but they are all very segmented stuff. So you need to tell me that which is the most important thing for you. So they were like, they all seem kind of important, but we don't know how we can segregate these. So I was like, okay, fine. So what I will do is I will do the first chunk of project as part of my dissertation. So if I will still have time, I will work on the other stuff. So they were like, yeah, that sounds good. So that was the hardest part. Coding and stuff, it's like you just need to figure out what tools you need to use. So that is just googling and reading different papers. So that was there. It was not the hardest part, but like I told you, the thing that I had to do and decide what was important, what was not, that was the hardest part. For people who are not very comfortable with programming, probably the implementation part would be really hard. So it depends on individual to individual. For me, that was the hardest part. The company that you just told, which are sponsoring your work visa, what's the name of the company and how did you come across that job posting? So I found that job on LinkedIn, and the company's name is Cleany Hub, and it's an Ireland-based company. What's your opinion on a recession next year? Will it affect data science entry level candidates? Uh, yeah, I have got these questions quite a lot, and people were also asking about data science versus software engineering, things like that. And things are actually not looking good. And one thing that I have noticed is and which makes sense that software engineers are required more than data scientists, because not all companies want data scientists, because they still are building their product, so they are looking for software engineers more than data scientists, because they first want to have a good product, and after that they can probably hire data scientists to increase their sales and stuff. But if they don't have a good product in the first place, there's no point in having a data scientist and trying to figure out how they can increase their sales. So it totally makes sense. So that is one thing. So recession, if recession comes, probably they will cut down on data science roles, and they will mainly focus on software engineers and things like that. But if there is a company who primarily rely on data science or data scientists, they will still hire. So one thing that I can say is openings will be there, but I think there will be less openings, or probably they will pay you less. So that's there. And nowadays, data science job market is already starting to saturate, not only in the UK, but if you just look into any job market, be it India, be it Canada, be it USA, anywhere, uh, there are a lot of data scientists, but not that many jobs are there. So I don't want to discourage anyone here, because as long as you gain experience, as long as you gain good knowledge, as long as you make a good portfolio, it's not impossible to find the right opportunity for you. But it's very competitive now. So rather, so what I can suggest you is, because now that you are asking for a data science roles, and now you have already committed that you want to go for masters in data science or something like that, I think you have made your mind that you want to be in data science. So now worrying about how the job market will be, or will I be able to get a job, instead of that, you should actually focus on the skills, try to improve your skills, so that you will stand out from other people who are still worrying about the job market, because by worrying about the job market is not going to help. If I talk about myself, when I had offer, I was like, okay, fine, I have offer, now I will not apply for a lot of different companies, and I will just focus on my dissertation. And when I was about to finish my dissertation, ThoughtWorks told that we want to move your joining to January from October. So I was like, but you guys told that I will be joining in October. So they were like, yeah, because of this recession and all those things, we can't accommodate you at this point. So I was like, okay, fine. So I had to start applying for different jobs. So that at that point, I could have done two things: panic and think like, now what am I going to do, now how will I find a job and things like that. And the second thing that I could have done was make a good resume, maybe work on more projects, start applying for different jobs, apply for as many jobs as I could, and then prepare for interviews. So I chose the second option. I didn't worry about what will happen, because the first offer which I had, it was in back in January. With that time, everything was looking really good. Pound was really strong. UK's economy was looking fine. There was no Ukraine Russia war. So that was the thing. But when I was starting to apply in September, everything was bad, everything was falling apart, and I was applying for jobs. So rather than focusing on worrying about the job market and things like that, I mainly focused on improving my profile and improving my knowledge, and eventually I got a job, right? So that's what I would suggest. It's always important to focus on right things and invest your energy and time in the right things. So that's what I would suggest. Cool. Thank you for explaining the hardest part. Would you be able to do a video on how to get the PSW? Uh, as I won't be taking post-study work visa, I have few friends. They might be applying for post-study work visa. So what I will do is I will talk to them. What is the process and how to get post-study work visa, and then I will definitely make a video on that. I am currently working as a technical author, 1 year, 5 months in aeronautical domain, and now planning for MSc. I had already resigned, currently on notice period. Okay, so you are planning to apply for next September and you have resigned, so probably you will have maybe 2 3 months now. So I would also suggest you to take a course. You have already taken a course, so you're planning to do that course full time. Yeah, so that's fine. I think it should be fine. It's not clean hub, it's like CLINI dash HUB. But just to tell you, I am probably their first hired candidate, probably, and they don't have any openings at this point. So I've told you the company name, but they don't really have any opening at this point. So they're not hiring anyone. But if you just go to their page and if they have careers page, you can still check if they have some opening. That's a good thing. But when I talked to them last week, they were like, we don't really have any opening at this point. But yeah, just go to their career page and see if they have something. So what would you advise, to revoke my resignation, or will it be possible to get a data analyst role in 3 months, considering I have some knowledge of. So you are on notice period and you want to look for a data analyst role. So one thing is, apply for as many jobs as you can, so that by the end of next year, by September next year, you will have some relevant experience. So that is one thing that you can do. But if you're not able to find anything by the end of your notice period, I would say uh, revoke your resignation and continue working, because having experience, more experience, is always better than having less experience. So that is what you can do. So wait, don't revoke your resignation just now. Try to find some data analytics roles. If you can find it, well and good. If not, then you should revoke your resignation. Could you tell us how good you was to get the job? I mean, have you been a pro to get the job? I don't know if I am pro or not, because definitely there are many things that I still have to learn. It's not like I know everything. One thing that I can say is I can code now, because I've been coding it for 6, 7, 8 years now, because I joined bachelor's in computer science in 2014. Okay, so 2014 I was really bad. I didn't even know what is x is equal to x plus 1. I was like, my teacher is mad because x can't be equal to x plus 1, because I was coming from mathematics background. So I won't say it from 2014, but from 2015, I think, yeah. So it's been around 7 years I've been programming. So yes, I can write code. I love maths, so I have learned maths behind most of the algorithms. I like to learn the nitty gritty of each and every algorithms. So I have done that as well. So whenever, and it's not like in an interview I have answered all the questions correctly. I have not answered some of the questions, definitely, but when there are some questions, I always tell them that yeah, I don't, I mean, I straight away tell them that I don't know this question. And then I also ask them, how will you tackle this particular problem? So probably they might have got an idea that I am at least interested in learning, even if I don't know something. Except for that, one more thing which is very important is your communication skills. You should be able to convey your information in a very good way, and your team members or the people who are interviewing you, most likely you'll be working with them. You need to make an impact that you are a good communicator, and when you will have to demonstrate some work that you have done, you will be able to do it in an efficient way, where they don't have to spend hours in meetings to get things done. So those are some of the things that you need to make sure, and you have to make a good impact on the interviewers. So that is something which is very important. How can I contact you? So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. So I have my profile link in the description, in all the videos, in the about section as well. Is it really possible to find internship or a job in IT in UK from India, being a fresher? You have been able to do it in Netherlands, but one thing that I can tell you is when I was looking for jobs in EU, for EU part, just opening, because I wanted to see what is the competition. The competition is relatively very less in other European region, because there, if you know the local language, then you are very much preferred, and it's maybe the company is an English speaking company and it's totally fine. But if you want to move up the ladder, when you will start interacting with the clients and things like that, you they feel like you need to know the regional language. And if you stay in any of the European region for, let's say, 6 to 7 months, even the locals expect you to know that particular language. So that is one reason. Tongue twister. So that is one reason why the competition is relatively less in different European region. But when it comes to UK, Canada, US, Australia, Ireland, their competition is really high. So when you are looking for a job from India in these countries, it's relatively harder as compared to finding job in European region, or a country where English is not their primary language. So yeah, that could be one of the reasons why it's hard to find job in the UK from India. Because one of my friend, he is a lead software engineer in India who has around 4 to 5 years of experience, and he has been trying to find job in the UK, in Canada, in US, from India, and he is finding it hard to do so. So that's there. And he is a software engineer, and like I told you, software engineers are in little bit more demand than a data scientist. But you can definitely find such companies, and you can definitely try to apply if there is an opening. I mean, it's not like you have to find such companies, but just go to LinkedIn. If you are able to find the opening, just apply to all the openings. If somebody gives you call, and if they're ready to give you offer and sponsor your visa, then well and good. It's all about trying. If you have time, if you have resources, if you want to apply, then definitely go for it, and see what happens. And when you come for masters, then if you choose to come for masters, then definitely after that you will be able to do that. How long did it take for you to get acceptance from Newcastle University? So I don't remember exactly, but I think I applied to Newcastle University in December, and I had offer maybe in March, I guess. Yeah. So let's say, yeah, around 3 to 4 months. So yeah, that's the thing. Oh, we are already over 1 hour. Time flies. I didn't even realize that we are already over 1 hour. If we don't have any more questions, I can probably close the stream. But if you still have some question, you can post. We will go till 1 hour 30 minutes. So we still have 7 minutes. What suggestions would you give me before coming to UK or choosing a good college for masters? I have given a lot of technical suggestions. So should I give you a non-technical suggestion, or should I still stick to technical suggestions? Do let me know in the chat. After that, I will give you the suggestion. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense for all the English speaking countries. I don't know what has happened to me. So much tongue twisting. I'm glad these live streams are helping you guys. My experience working in Infosys. So the training part was extremely good, like everybody says. So the training part was really, really good. I learned so many things. But when I came to PU, when I actually got deployed in a project, I was on bench for around 2 months, maybe, even though my score in training was around 85, 86%, I think. Uh, so yeah, and what I realized was the people who had less score, they got projects sooner than people who had better scores. I don't know what's the reason. Maybe that is just a coincidence. So that's the thing. But that was the thing. But after that, when I got a project, luckily or maybe unluckily, I got a project which was related to data, big data project I was working on. But I was working on a very support sort of project where I was looking into just the streams, payment streams, if it is working good or not. So I had good hold over shell scripting. So I just wrote multiple scripts, and rather than monitoring them manually, I automated everything. So every morning I used to run the scripts, and it used to tell me which streams are running properly, which streams are not running properly. If the stream is not running properly, I just used to clean and start it again. So that was the thing. So my job was really nothing very challenging anymore, and whatever people used to do whole day, I used to just do it in like an hour or so. So I always started uh, talking to other teammates who were working on data analysis, machine learning part, and I started assisting them in all those kind of things. So they always appreciated my assistance, but the thing was, I was not officially working on that. So I talked to my manager. I was like, "Can you put me in a machine learning team or at least data analysis team?" So they were like, "Okay, we will do it in next month. We will do it in next month." And like that, 6 months passed, and 6 months passed, and then I was like, "I don't think I'm going anywhere." And I anyways wanted to do masters, so I was like, "Okay, fine, I will go for masters." Uh, so that is what I mean. My working experience there was fine up to some extent, but when it comes to people or the higher management, it was not really good. But there are few friends of mine from my training period. They're still part of Infosys. So it all comes down to what project you are getting, what type of people you are getting, what type of managers you have. If you have a good manager who actually believes in uh, having you to learn things and grow personally and on professional level as well, then you are in a very good hand, and I would suggest you to stick around and learn as much as you can. But if you get people like my manager, I think it's better to just leave. UK prime minister just resigned yesterday. How's inflation there? Yeah, things are not good for sure. Inflation is too much. I literally talked about that in this live stream as well. Things are getting expensive, but as long as I have a job, I think I can sustain myself. Roshan, could you take a look? Maybe it's look and not loot at my SOP once it's done for a review. I will. I'm definitely not gonna promise because I have a very busy schedule. But once you are done, you can definitely you can send me your SOP, and if at that point I will have some time, I will look into it, and whatever feedback I can give, I will be more than happy to do that. Non-technical suggestions would be great now because you have already given a lot of technical ones. Yeah, that's exactly. So, in terms of non-technical things, I would say if you are not much into cooking and if you don't know cooking, I highly suggest you to learn cooking because I struggled a lot when I came here and started cooking. but the good thing is I never burnt my food, so that's there. But yeah, I literally didn't know what to cook, how to cook, but eventually I learned. So that is one thing. The next thing is try to be as much independent as you can, because even if you are a working professional when you're living in your home country, and you are in initial stages of your career, lot you rely a lot on your parents. You try to talk to them, you try to discuss things with them and maybe make decisions based on that. But when you come out, there are many things that maybe your parents won't understand, because the culture and things are very different here than what we have in our own home country. So it's very important that you make your mind that you will be independent and you will have to make a lot of decisions on your own, because your parents will definitely suggest you few things, but then it might not be the best thing for you. Because if I give you an example, one of my friends, she relies a lot on her parents opinion and suggestions. So now that she has completed her masters, she wants to rent a house. So her parents are saying that go and rent the whole house, which will be for you, and things like that. But the things here are very expensive now. Like I told you, rents are very high, food and stuff are really high. So her parents don't understand that exactly. Even though she will tell that it's expensive, they might not be able to understand that. So uh, so she is still considering to rent the whole house, which I think is not a good thing to do at this point. But that's her decision and I can't really do that. And her parents and other relatives told her to do so, and that's what she's doing. So it's very important that you become independent and you take your decisions on your own, and not too much be dependent on your parents or anybody for that matter. So those are the two things that I would say. Something else maybe, uh, because I am not the very engaging, or let's say talkative person, and I don't really go out much. But if you are someone who can manage that, and if you are good with let's say talking to people and things like that, it's very good to talk to people, especially people who you feel like could be very good for your professional life, I think. So always be in touch with those kind of people, because that will help you in finding a job as well. So that is something else that I would suggest. So those are few things that I would suggest. So what did you do whole day when you just finished your work in 1 or 2 hours? Yeah, like I told you, I used to interact with my machine learning and data analysis team members, and I used to assist them the whole time. So that is what I used to do, because that way I learned a lot how the things are being done in the practical stuff. So even though I was not officially on that project, I used to spend most of my time with those people. How do you find people there? Have you ever faced any sort of racism? I personally haven't faced any racism, and people are very friendly. So, in that regard, I think it's good that people are open minded. There will be people, even older people are really good here, because I've talked to some of the older people, they were really kind. They wanted to know about India, how I came here, and how I'm liking the country as a whole. So they wanted to know those kind of things. So that is there. But then you know that there will be people who wouldn't like you because you are in a foreign country, and they feel like you are taking their jobs and stuff. But then to those people, I say that if you have the capability, just go ahead and take the job. It's not like I'm coming to your house and I'm snatching the job from you. So that's there. So I don't mind those kind of people, but in general, most people are really good here. All right, so we are over 1 hour 30 minutes now. So I think I have answered all the questions, and I always look forward to Saturday at 12 p.m. British summer time, because this way I can talk to you guys like this, and it's always fun. So yeah, do join me next week, and I'll see you guys there. Yeah, so I'll just end the stream and have a lovely weekend, and always keep learning. Bye, everyone.